This show is proudly sponsored by TraderCobb.com, the leaders in checklist-based trading strategy. Yes, that's exactly how it sounds. I'll teach you a literal checklist so you can tick off items and be decisive very quickly. Get across to TraderCobb.com where there's a bunch of free content there for you to have a look at. And of course, if you're interested in having me come to your city, click and register for the live events coming up and filling fast. Have a great day. Visit TraderCobb.com now.
The Trader Cobb Crypto Show, talking business in blockchain.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Trader Cobb Crypto Show. Today, I've got a returning guest with me today in Henrik Andersson, who's the CIO of Apollo Capital, an Australian fund here investing in the cryptocurrency space. It's been over a year since we last had you on the show, mate. So welcome back. Thank you for your time, and we'll have a chat about what's happened.
Fantastic. Thank you for having me, Craig.
No worries.
Back.
Mate, it's been a wild period of time since we last spoke. Of course, 2018 has since passed. Thank goodness for many people. Of course, not so good if you weren't shorting the market. I much prefer to see the market going up. What do you think's the biggest thing that we can, or what? Actually, not we, but what have you taken from 2018 as, I guess, the biggest takeaway?
Oh well, it's so much happened since we last spoke a year ago. I can't believe it's been a year already. It's really incredible. So 18 was, of course, one of the biggest bear markets in the crypto space. You see sort of a lot of people leaving the market, getting tired of crypto during the time, but it's just reinforced, I think, that those are the times to invest and to deploy capital and to build really nice, solid technology. So that's what we did. We had a big cash position in the fund going into 2018 or from the beginning of 18, I should say. And then we deployed capital during the year and just invested throughout the year. And I think that's been really successful for us. So I think that's really the way to play this market. You have a long-term vision for the market. You think that it might go much higher, and don't lose that long-term outlook. I think that's the important thing to bear in mind. Volatility will remain high for many years to come, but yes, don't lose hope in the bear market. That's actually the time to invest. Most people do the opposite and thinks that maybe should cut the loss and leave the market, and that's probably the worst time to leave. So I think that's the biggest takeaway, and we've seen a nice rebound this year in the market.
Another cycle goes through once again. Now, there's been a lot of talk about the alt market, right? A lot of projects have been, copping a hiding, and a lot of them quite rightly so. Let's be honest. But what are you seeing out there at the moment? I mean, the alt markets have been, for the most part, getting dominated by Bitcoin. As Bitcoin's dominance has increased, of course, it tends to be that the cycles like that. It moves around. We haven't seen any altcoin season, as it's called quite frequently, as of yet. What do you think is going to happen throughout this year? Do you think we're going to see a resurgence of altcoins? And if so, where do you think we'll see that resurgence?
Look, I don't have a high conviction that we'll see the majority of altcoins rally again like 17. I definitely think we'll see some altcoins do very well as Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency increase in market cap going forward. But I think you just have to be selective, and that's our approach at Apollo. We do our research and we invest in what we believe are the most promising projects out there, and I think some of them will do really well. So I think, just don't buy any altcoin because you think that they have underperformed. I think that's a losing strategy. Many of the altcoins might never come back. So you really need to either just buy some selected coins or do more research before you buy something, or invest in a managed fund like Apollo Capital, where we handle the research and investment decisions for you. That's other alternative, I guess.
And what's the theory around a lot of the altcoins not coming back? Obviously, good business, good projects will still do well, right? That's just the way the world goes, right? But why do you think it won't happen like 2017? Is it because there's going to be a new player, a new demographic entering into this market? Or what's the theory behind that?
Well, a lot of a lot of the projects were overvalued at the time, and those valuations might never come back for those particular coins. People were buying anything because there was an easy way to make a lot of money, and many of those coins, if you look at them today, they have gone down 95, 99% in value, and the liquidity is very bad in those coins. And there are better projects coming to market. That it's a very competitive space, as you know, and it's all about building that network effect. And many of those smaller coins will never build that crucial network effect. Having said that, there are many exciting projects coming to the market, right? And we've seen that this year, and we'll see more of those projects come in the market the next 12 months. This year we've seen Cosmos coming to market. That's a big project. We don't have a position in that project ourselves. And we will have more projects like that. We will have Polkadot probably later this year. Definity at some point. We have seen Algorand come to market. So we have good quality projects coming to market, and those projects can capture market share. And some of the existing altcoins will do well as well. That's for sure. But I wouldn't bet on a rally for the majority of the coins. We have maybe 3,000 coins listed on CoinMarketCap today, and I think for most of them the future is not very bright. I'm super excited about the space as a whole and our portfolio, but yeah, you really need to know what you're buying out there.
So, I mean, we've seen Ethereum cop a bit of a hiding and a lot of flack. There's been a lot of talk about the lack of certain things occurring over there. Is this one of the projects that you think is going to have a resurgence? I mean, look, it is still number 2 on market cap. A lot of tokens have been built on it. It has got a big community, and it has stuck around. It's still in the multi-billions, tens of billions, absolutely, with the market capitalization at the moment. What do you think the future is for Ethereum? I mean, do you have a take on that?
Yeah, so we have a position in Ethereum in our fund. As you said, a lot of developers are building on top of Ethereum. I think that's a really positive sign, and they're not looking to leave the Ethereum community anytime soon. There is some technical risk in Ethereum. As you know, they're upgrading the network to Ethereum 2.0, which is a completely new blockchain. And that will take some time. It will take multiple years before the new Ethereum is up and running, so to speak. But having said that, we continue to see a lot of projects building on top of Ethereum, and especially in the open finance space in DeFi, which is an area where we are investing heavily. Many of those projects are building on Ethereum, so they have that network effect going for them. So that's one crypto assets we have in our portfolio. We run a diversified portfolio, so we don't just have to pick one. But I think Ethereum still has its place.
Okay, and with regards to the next wave that we hope we've seen, we've definitely seen a resurgence of Bitcoin. For the most part, it's Bitcoin and not everything. Many in the top 10 have had a bit of a resurgence, but Bitcoin's definitely been the powerhouse. What do you think is going to drive the price to new all-time highs? What is it? A new market, as a new participant? What's going to actually push us higher?
Yeah, I think there's a few things. So firstly, announcements like Facebook's LIBRA. I think I've been talking a while about how social networks can bring the next 100 million people into crypto, and I think that's still the case. We don't know if LIBRA will be launched or not, or if the regulators will stop Facebook from launching LIBRA next year. But if it's not LIBRA, it will be another tech company, maybe based out of Asia or somewhere else. But those kind of companies really have the power to increase the on-ramp to crypto dramatically. So we're talking about hundreds of millions of people that might get access to a cryptocurrency that they can trade for Bitcoin or Ethereum or something else. So I think that's huge. So that's a really positive trend. And I just amazed the last few days. We have seen the chairman of the Federal Reserve compare Bitcoin to digital gold, and we have seen Trump tweeting about Libra and Bitcoin. And I was watching last night's hearing in the U.S. Congress, and it's just amazing that some congressmen really have a deep understanding of this, and it's just great to see. So that really puts Bitcoin and cryptocurrency on a whole new level, I think, globally. And I think that's just very positive for the whole space. And then there is another couple of things. So one is, I think, the macro backdrop in the world, which is really positive for cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. We have seen a new wave of easing from central banks. The Federal Reserve in the US is set to cut rate a couple of times this year. Same thing is happening here in Australia. I think the Reserve Bank of Australia is likely to cut rates further. And that's just really supportive of scarce assets like Bitcoin. We have the biggest hedge fund managers in the world kind of reiterating the case for gold. We had Ray Dalio just yesterday putting out a report on the economy on a global scale, and he's really pushing for gold there. And I think you can argue that Bitcoin even more scarce than gold. So I think that's really positive.
It's almost like a perfect storm, isn't it? It's all coming together. And I mean, when's the tip going to happen? Like, when are we going to get all this information? It's like, okay, tick that. We've got legitimacy through Facebook. We've got, fidelities. We've all the big moves that were happening into the space end of last year, earlier this year. They've all been sort of paled into insignificance now because it's been talked about in Congress. It's been talked about, by the arguably one of the most innovative companies in the world. It's definitely coming to the forefront. This is not going anywhere. And I truly believe, and I'm seeing this, a lot of people that are active investors in stocks are now going, well, okay, well, we can see it's not going anywhere. And they watch the .com boom and bust and then subsequent rise again for the last, 20 odd years. And
Right.
I think they're starting to enter into the space. It's really interesting. But as you say, it's going to be that there could be a cataclysmic event. If we saw a big economy collapse again, I think that could be the catalyst. And the thing is, it's going to be, if that does happen, at the moment it's a death by 1,000 cuts, but the other way, for the upside, every little cut's a positive at the moment. If we had a cataclysmic event where everyone knows what Bitcoin is and the markets start to plummet, I mean, we could see Bitcoin smash through $50,000, $30,000, $100,000 without too much volatility, without too much money coming in, because the value in Bitcoin is people holding it.
It's a big multiple effect, and the truth is that the gains we've seen, they go very fast. So if you don't have an exposure to something like Bitcoin, you're going to miss out, because it will go to 10,000, and then before you notice it's 15 or 20, and you're at all-time highs, and it might go higher from there, right? So as you say, this is the time to place your bets, and we see the positive macro picture, and Bitcoin halving coming up next year as well, which will be huge. So that's the supply getting cut in half for Bitcoin, and the inflation rate will be lower than fiat currencies and lower than gold, and will only get lower from there. So it's hard to predict the timing of these events, but I don't think we'll go back to the lows we saw last year.
No, I'm with you on that. I don't see any evidence of that. It's quite interesting though, watching people's opinions and thoughts. As soon as the market's not going up, it's always manipulated. It's all this is bad. It's going back down to zero. Blah 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 blah. I mean, you've still got people out there that are literally not willing at all to consider that this is actually a good place to be investing. I mean, I've interviewed Peter Schiff, who, God bless his silly old soul. He just will not listen. He just does not have any desire to learn about it. He's trying to compare gold to Bitcoin. He goes, well, with gold, you can buy something. I'm like, well, how often do you rock up with a little slab of gold and buy a car? I said, you'd be finding it a lot easier to buy a car with Bitcoin than what you would to buy a car with gold.
Exactly. It's much easier to use Bitcoin as a payment.
Yeah.
We might not need to, but it's easier than gold, for sure. I think it's very hard to convince everyone that cryptocurrencies is the future, but I think the positive thing is that we're seeing a new generation of investors, a new generation of asset allocators, and they have been growing up being used to digital assets like Bitcoin and other assets, and for them it's natural. So you might not need to convince the old gold bugs about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. You know, eventually there will be other people that will manage money and be the thought leaders in the world.
Yeah,
and that's the future.
Yep, and dinosaurs go extinct, and that's just the way the world works. Onward and upwards we go. So you're still very positive in 2019?
Absolutely. It's going to be another amazing year for the space, and we've seen that already. I think all the things that happened so far this year. I think, and I think the latest dip in the market here last few weeks is just another opportunity for us to accumulate more coins. That's the way I see it. You know, LIBRA and Facebook coin might be delayed, and that's fine.
Likely. I can't see them having an easy road to it kicking off. I really see that being delayed and delayed and delayed, which is fine. I think it's a good thing. I mean, you can't buy that sort of PR, and the more talk about it there is, and the more kerfuffle there is, the more interest there is in the space. And well, Bitcoin, you can't shut it down. People go, hang on, why can't they shut Bitcoin down? And then they start going down the rabbit hole and they go, oh, wow. Okay, wow, I got to get some of that. I think it's a really good thing. And the more infighting with Congress, I think it's actually better. You know, the more they complain, the more it's on headlines and everything, and they're saying this and they're saying that. You know, all we need is 100 million people. I know it sounds like a lot, but 100 million people to go to Google Bitcoin and find the information.
Exactly.
And it's not very many people that are going to read that and understand it and go, that sucks. You know what I mean? Like it's really coming.
That's right, and more people are getting it. I just was listening to a congressman called Patrick McHenry this morning, and he talked about Bitcoin and how it's decentralized and unstoppable, and how we should encourage innovation. So more and more people get it, even in the Congress. So
well, they are normal people for the most part. Let's be honest.
That's right,
mate. It's been an absolute pleasure talking with you. Where can we find out more about the fund and how to get involved?
Yeah, you can go to apollocap.io and all the information is there.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure catching up with you again, Henrik. Hopefully it's not another 12 months before we speak. I hope you have a fantastic year, and well done for surviving through 2018. Obviously, it was a good time to be accumulating. So I hope you've done a very good job of that, and I wish you all the best going forward.
Thank you so much, Craig. See you soon.
Thanks very much, guys. Have a good day. Bye for now. This show is proudly sponsored by TraderCobb.com, the leaders in checklist-based trading strategy. Yes, that's exactly how it sounds. I'll teach you a literal checklist so you can tick off items and be decisive very quickly. Get across to TraderCobb.com, where there's a bunch of free content there for you to have a look at. And of course, if you're interested in having me come to your city, click and register for the live events coming up and filling fast. Have a great day. Visit TraderCobb.com now.